placed in such a way as it to minimally affect you, you know, and just have to work at that. And I mean, it's a comment was made that when they did the parade of homes, the goal was to hopefully get people that they thought that they had people that came to the parade of homes from 6 states, basically Georgia and the surroundings, that would be pretty neat, you know, from every of the states that touch Georgia, that if they came to the parade of homes, that would be pretty cool. I think the number finally came back that came from 26 states, which is more than touch Georgia, you know, and some of those are California, Washington, places like that. So the cat's out of the bag in terms of Blue Ridge. You're not putting that back in the bottle.
The one thing though that I'm hearing, and because I talked to a lot of realtors, and I asked them, you know, who's coming in, who do you talk to, who do you work with, who do you sell to? I got an interesting comment the other day from a realtor who told me that she had somebody coming in that bought 2 rental units here, 2 homes to be rentals, and she said they were from California. And she said, out of curiosity, when she was sitting there talking to them at closing, she said, why did you choose to come to here from like California, coming all the way across the country? And they told her that it was because they could no longer do this on the West Coast. So it piqued my curiosity, and I started looking up a lot of the things around the West Coast. They have very strict regulations on the number of short-term rentals you can have in the community, how you can run short-term rentals. I mean, in some California communities, they were saying you had to live in the house 6 months per year, and then you could rent it, you know, possibly 3 months. Or you can live in the house, and then you can rent like a garage apartment or something like that. But they're putting very, very strict regulations on how the STRs can work, because it's had such an impact. Lake Tahoe was one that we published an article on recently, where they really have put their foot down on STRs because it's had such a negative impact on the workforce. I know Caesar's talked a lot about, you know, the difficulty that people have getting folks to work because they can't afford to live here anymore.
You can't find a place to live.
Right.
Or, fortunately, the DDA only deals with central business district.
Interestingly enough, you do have some rentals in there, and that's one thing the city has focused on, keeping rentals strictly in central business districts, C1, C2, and out of the residential. And I think that's what we can do for our residents, you know, because that's our job. There are some in the central business, which
Yes,
are considered the businesses. They're considered a business.
Yes, there is.
My
But that's what
points-
makes it
Yeah.
really important, in my opinion, that the city and the county are
Absolutely.
together,
Yeah.
and how they do their planning for the next 10, 20, 30 years.
And I've recommended to both, because I work more with Blue Ridge than I do with Kaysville, but, you know, I've recommended like quarterly meetings. I've seen that work very well in another county, where the chamber president was actually the one who did it, and she got the 5 cities and the county officials together where they talked about what they were doing, and, you know, their DDAs were involved in it too, and it's really good when you see something like that come together, because just like Natalie was asking about plans, then you see what everybody's doing, and then it can be more of a cohesive plan. Even though they're individual, you can all kind of work toward the common goal. The only reason that I mentioned what I did is because you may just deal with the CBD, but part of your problem right now that y'all have to deal with is businesses, like the Business Association, is lack of workers, right? So
That's the biggest issue.
if the county is not, if we're not involved at the county level, you know, we're missing a huge.
Don't get me wrong, I know that we need to be aware and help in that area. I think the best way to do that is, like, every time I see Jamie, I ask him, you know, what are we doing about housing for these people, you know, or Rhonda. I mean, we all have to take that interest if you have a business or if you live here, because it's just going to get worse until some of those things are tackled. And I don't think they're going to be tackled easily by one or the other. It's going to have to be tackled by all of us together. And how we go about doing that, I think we're still trying to figure out. I mean, I think the county, for the first time in a long time, is very eager to have those discussions. And I think the city council is too. So, but it's not just Blue Ridge, it's also McKaysville, it's Morganton, it's all of those as well. So it's a tough thing to try to tackle. But I think that the county, for the first time in a long time I've seen, is eager to try to tackle some of that in conjunction with the city.
Would there be a way to start setting up a quarterly meeting with all entities to try to get everybody on the same page, or is it too much to do?
It should be done. Going there again back to the goals for our Northwest Regional Commission, that was one of the goals and it never was met. That was not a goal that was met.
The
because
previous-
It never,
the previous.
the previous, it just didn't happen.
Is
It
that
has-
something that you would want to?
Yeah, I mean, I think that we need to, and I have actually actively spoken with Mayor of McKaysville and with Mr. Hensley, and we are anxious to work together. In fact, Eric has met with him, or talked to him as well, and we are very anxious to all work together and possibly pursue those type of meetings. And I'd like to get, of course, Morganton involved as well.
Yeah.
But I think it's something that's needed. And luckily, we have such a great group of elected officials right now who are all willing to work together, which has not been the case previously. And that's the key, is having people who are willing to work together and want to work together. And we're actually anxious to do this with them and we've been talking about many projects already, so.
I just know from having covered everything that it would be a good thing if
It would be
everybody got
wonderful.
together.
Yes.
You're right.
Yep, I think we're in a good place now to really make a difference in the community and to look at things together.
And the DDA wants to be part of it.
And we want you guys to be a part of it. Yeah.
Good.
Okay. I don't believe there's anything we need executive session for. So with that, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second? I have a motion and a second. Meeting adjourned.
Excellent. Thank you all for coming.
Oh, yes. Andy and I.
What happened to the council?
I don't know.